Boom. So I want you guys to just imagine this. You lost 50 pounds, you kept it off for over a year, and now you're on the verge of losing 100 pounds. And you're going to keep it off for the rest of your life. That's what Nick was able to do. We're going to talk to him about it. Nick, thanks for joining and tuning in with us for the office hours. I'm really excited to have you in, man, and dive into again, you're right on 100 pounds, man. Originally you're talking about losing 50. Then
well,
up
so
to
that,
how about that?
That's actually, I started out at 430, but that scale didn't read until 400. So I've actually lost.
So we're pushing
pretty much 132.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. All right. Pause. I have to revamp the whole intro then. So let's just pause there for a second. And one of the things I think that's even not only how much you lose is the ability to keep it off for a period of time. One of the biggest checkpoints is being able to keep it off for a year. And that's a monumental kind of checkpoint and milestone. So I want to acknowledge that in your just weight loss journey and in your kind of constant body recomposition, your health. We've created content in the past. If you guys want to see some of the stuff Nick and I have talked about, you can check it out on Instagram or on our long form, but I kind of want to highlight a couple of those things. So first thing, just introduce a little bit your health journey. We have to go all the way back to starting with health because you got a long kind of experience here, but more in the recent years, being a dad, going through life, working full time. Talk to me about that, even from us working together and how you've maintained it since then.
Yeah. Well, so with the maintain part, I experienced some of the going backwards. So I got all the way down to 320 in 2023. Kept it off for a while. And then I got into powerlifting and I was doing 620 on squat and, body's getting heavier. And then I snapped my ankle and got all the way up back to 370. And then now I've lost 370 all the way back down to this. So, maintaining, it was just one of those things. It's you get that mentality. You're like, okay, I'm good. I can eat whatever. And then and then it just becomes a spiral, but just going back to it, it's hard. So, it's a back and forth every time with it. But Mike I'm sure will dig deeper in this, but I travel all the time for work. So I've been in New York a bunch lately and Florida and Louisiana, everywhere. And, I think the toughest part, especially in New York, I'm not used to everywhere you go, you have to eat out everywhere because there's you're staying in a hotel room that's 5 foot by 5 foot. You might as well just have to stand up in it.
Yeah.
But now,
or lack thereof. When I say equipment, I mean cooking supplies, basic even heating things. And one of the things I just wanted to pop in really quick, we got a great comment. They were asking if you're a firefighter. I think it's because you got the awesome stash. But yeah, no, with work, I'd love to, we talk a little bit more about that. And also shout out to you, No Habla.
Did I lose your mic?
Oh, there we go. How about that? Is that better?
Did I lose you there?
There we go. How about that? That's better. And we're back.
That's better. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So me
and Mike started out together in 2022. August 2022, we started out. So I was going through a lot in my life, Dad, my son was 2 at the time. And then I just was I think when we first started, I was at maybe 410. And then I just couldn't get over the hump of getting down in the 4s. And I saw Mike's ad on Facebook through friends of friends with Johnny and everything. And then I called him. We had a talk, and he gave me the old, if we don't do it today, you're not going to do it. And I signed up, and on your program, I think we went from 410 down to 360. We were 50 pounds. 360 was where we ended off in 3 months. So that was a big jump for sure. So,
and that's to me, even the sustainability and maintenance to it is there's going to be some fluctuation. I talk about this in a video on prior, is seasonal fluctuations for sure, right? From summer to winter, even especially where we live, think about how temperatures can hit. But one thing's that interesting, I appreciate someone was commenting about what you do for work. And then another person was just saying, hey, so, hey, but being able to look at that part, you mentioned travel, right? And being able to oh, is he a firefighter just because you got the sweet stash? I'm assuming that's why they say that, and because you're just a solid big ass dude. So you got all the muscle. Also, sorry, Amazon. I'm gonna try not to curse. That's the one thing I'm working on is especially for try not to curse.
So you're gonna lose profitability.
yeah, like all the things getting pulled down, which I ran into last week with one of our coaches coming on. We were just like getting too comfortable and cursing a little bit. So we'll work on the sailor potty mouth stuff. But the point is, when it comes to travel and maintaining all this, like life happen, right? Like travel, having kids, buying a new home, going through different things in life, working. So I wanted to look at, okay, yes, there was maybe some fluctuation, getting injured, right? And having to come back from injury. One of the things that I think goes through all of that is not always a lack of knowledge, especially once you've gone through, this is my understanding. I'm curious if this feels true for you. Once you've gone through coaching to a degree and you have knowledge, you're like, all right, cool. I have the knowledge. It's what am I going to do with it? Like, how do we have motivation and how do, when we maybe lose it, come back to it? So I wonder when you noticed after the injury and coming back, what did you find helpful from a motivation standpoint or even a mindset?
I was going through a lot. So I'm a building consultant for insurance companies to answer the question. So I get sent all over.
No, don't leave us, Nick. We lost my building consultant. Let's see if I can bring us back in here. We're going to get him back. Don't worry, y'all. That was a great question. And so let's see if Nick drops back in. But in the meantime, what Nick's basically saying is he's a traveling professional. He has to travel a lot for checking out buildings, the consulting side of it, puts him in positions where he's not able to necessarily have a lot of cooking control. So being able to make intentional decisions while traveling is, I think, a really big one that he was kind of alluding to. So I'm going to pull him down for a second. I'll see if I can pull him back in. Yeah. See, so he's going to hop back in and be able to see if we can get him back in here for the connection part. But I think the thing to highlight too is just for everyone out there watching. So let's say even for Nick, right? When we were working together, he lost over 50 pounds and then still put on a little bit of that back, about 10 pounds back. And then recognizing with injuries, using the coaching to be able to make informed decisions. And this is where I want to see for him, what was the motivation piece? Because a lot of times for most of us, as I've talked about in the past, it's not a gap of knowledge. At this point with technology and all things accessible to it, it's not a lack of knowledge. It's a matter of systems and then what you're going to do with that. All right, let's bring it.
Sorry about that.
Oh, we're back. I got you.
My Wi-Fi cut out. I'm not sure what's going on.
It's all good.
The perks of living out in the country, dude. That's what.
Yeah,
happens. It shuts down. So I apologize. Yeah, but I'm a building consultant, so I travel all the country for work. Hurricane Helene was big for me. My daughter was actually born a week after Helene,
which is crazy.
And it, I mean, we had no water power or any of that over here, and then, but then I was still. Like Helene was rough. I mean, we were just having to eat out all the time, everything else. And I was still sitting there at that 370. And then I was at a job that a company I really just wasn't happy at. And that's a big thing too. You're just like, oh, I was to eat. I don't care. I'll eat the feelings away. And then I've started out with my now company I'm with in January of 2025. And since then, I just like way better atmosphere, work group, and then just like, people that are that want to get better and everything else. And I work, when I travel, I work out with some of the guys there. Nice. And then, and that's just really changed my mentality too. Like loving work, not being stressed at work all the time. And then they just, and I work from home now. So I'm able to, cook meals throughout the day, crock pot, regular cook. And with the new kitchen and everything, which is nice, I can actually cook in space and, get a little crazy with it.
Oh, so you touched on a couple of things. One of the things I want to pull out, we were actually texting about this. So I'll kind of inject it here. When you talk about stress, and being able to manage stress or just like shift where you can, like some things are out of our control, but being able to maybe shift our work environment. Also, again, a hurricane's out of our control, right? Like when the dog born or when our child's born is going to be somewhat out of our control and some of the elements around that. But being able to go back to, okay, what are the things I can control? And this is the thing that you mentioned I thought was really impactful. And the reason I bring on this up because I love talking to parents specifically and dads about how we're having fun. Because I think a lot of times there's this interesting relationship between our capacity to handle stressful things related to how much fun we're having. The more fun we're having, or fulfillment we're making our time for in our life, the more we can handle stressful things, and the perceived stress goes down, which is great for how our body even responds to, like, with cortisol and our hormones and our signaling mechanisms for food. So like, you kind of texted me about this, but I want to like kind of dive into that too, about having fun throughout all of this, or fulfillment. Maybe fun's not always the best word, but like doing the things that fulfill you. And I want to pause by saying, like, when we take out exercise and we take out our kids and our family for a hot second, because that's like obviously things we're going to lean on is like our family and movement, which is great. But I wonder what else is fulfilling outside of those things. Living in the country, for example, where you don't have the best Wi-Fi, that's going to be fulfilling.
Yeah, you know what? I might switch my phone mic. That might make it a little better. I think it's my computer's just lagging. Here, I'm gonna call you back on my phone, and then we'll be good to go. Hold on one second.
That's all right. We're gonna be on here. So what I'm kind of insinuating, and I'll pull you out here so you'll get, is, at least from my experience, I'm curious for those watching live, and even if you're watching the replay of this, comment what you do for fun as well, whether you're a parent or a dad or not. Like, even just as an adult, I feel like fun is pretty massive. Let's tag Nick back in here.
All right, sorry. Nah, yeah, that works better.
Yeah, that's great. So yeah, going back to, let's see if I pull this from the studio. I don't want to kick. I think this will work. Yeah, there we go. Talk to me about fun and fulfillment, and how you think that relates, or how you've noticed that relates to maybe your health journey.
Well, I think when you're just around people that are just have better mentality in life, like, it just makes you all chase after the same goals and just like want to be happy and healthy for as long as possible so you can achieve those goals, kind of deal. And then just being in a good marriage now, happy home, got, just everything you want, but still more to work for every day, every single day. Just kind of makes everything you do just more fun. Like just going out to the farmer's market with the kids, or, you know what? I say that, but then you got to think about a 6-year-old touching everything in these wind chime stores or whatever. Yeah, no. So maybe that part wasn't as fun, but just, well, I've got an acre and a half here now, and just like literally just going out on my back porch and hearing my son go play down at the creek with his friends. It's just like, it's the most peaceful thing. Like, it's great. And just enjoying my wife and my daughter, and just watching them grow, and it just makes everything so much more enjoyable in the long run. It's less of like day-to-day things for me, but more of like seeing as a family as we grow makes things way more fun. So
yeah, so now all right, so that's like what I'm hearing from the fulfillment side is not only the connection, right? Is like, and then the environment too that goes along with that. So if you're like trudging through life, whether it's in your relationship or it's in work dynamics or whatever, it's like, it's not going to lean into a very exciting experience. And I don't know about everyone else watching, but at least I know for me, and like, I'm inferring from what we've talked about and just working with you in the past, like, we can lean on food then. It's like, all right, what's the point? F it. I'm going to just go eat this thing or do that, or being able to go through those comfort things. And I've been there even with like, I don't want to go too much into, I guess, like the past of relationships, but in unhappy relationships and how I was doing coping mechanisms around that, and being in a current relationship where there's a lot of fulfillment and presence. And again, it's not all like sunshines and rainbows. Like, obviously there's challenges when you have a newborn or a young daughter or just baby with like sleep deprivation, all that fun stuff. So I think that's really impactful to your points, like hearing the fulfillment and the environment and the people you keep around yourself. So knowing that, I wonder, because like a lot of people say, yeah, that's great for you, Nick, but like I'm either scared or they're reserved about like leaving because of lack of security. Like, what would you say to those people that are watching and be like, I just don't know where to start or what to do, whether it's they're in a relationship they're not happy with, or they're in a like work environment? What are your thoughts? I mean, you don't have to give them exactly, do this exactly, but just some insights. I think that's a really powerful one. I don't want to just overstep really quickly.
Well, I will say I'll go on the work part and we can dig in the relationship part after. And I would say for the work part, like I dealt so long of like, I don't want to leave because, they need me, or, at the end of the day, if you die tomorrow, they're going to fill somebody by the end of the week, and it got to the point of where I was like, I interviewed probably 10 different places. Then I found this one who reached out to me directly. And it was one that somebody I've known for a long time. And my dad's known for a long time. And I was like, I could just see everywhere around. And everyone I talked to, I was like, man, I really like these people. And it was like, it got to the point at my old job, I was like, it's not just the immediate, just happiness of leaving every day there. I could tell, like, I was like, I hate being at this place, and I hate the people I'm around. And then just, I was finally like, look, I mean, they cut my pay some because we were a little slow prior to the hurricane. So they cut my pay before the hurricane. And then I was like, I've got to do what's best for my family and just find somewhere that, one, pays better, and then two, that's not going to kill me from stress over the next 5 years. And just taking the leap. I could have left here and just completely fell on my face, but I didn't, luckily. And I'm 31 now. I mean, if you fail, you fall, just get back up. If you're 50, you fall, get back up. It's only you that can keep yourself down. And once you get over that, a fear of falling, and you brush your knee off when you're a kid, you fall off your bicycle, you get back up, you do it again. Relationship wise, I mean, me and Mike went through things. I was divorced. I was in a relationship I was extremely unhappy in with and I was so worried of what was going to happen, and like what happens when I leave. I just finally got to the point where, like, I wanted to do what's best. Being in an unhealthy relationship with a child, it just makes it so, like, it makes your child think, okay, this is okay. Like, this is how life's supposed to be. And then I made the leap. I was like, look, I'm not going to show them this is what life needs to be, and him fall into the same trap with that. And it's been hard, but you keep going. Especially for my kids, and now my wife, and I've got now my new daughter who's 18 months as of yesterday. So, but it's been a wild ride for sure.
So yeah, I think that's really, again, the insightful piece is the willingness to, again, realize it's not a fixed thing. And what I mean by that is like, oh, okay, just because, like, let's say, quote unquote, failed, or I moved from a position or a company or even in a relationship, like that was like a big thing for me, is like, and I'll be super transparent. I'll try not to go too far in the weeds in mine, but like, I didn't even was the one that ended mine. Like, I went through a divorce as well. And like, I was on the other side, but I could see, hey, if like someone's not, it's a leap of faith, and being able to see what's on the other side of that, and encouraging people, like, if you aren't happy, I think, first, look at what's going on, like being able to, like, hey, if you can understand how you got there, like what can you control? But then B, if you're like, hey, this is unsalvageable, or even in a work situation or any environment that doesn't feel conducive for your life and for your growth, be able to take action. And being able to do that and realize it's not a fixed thing. It can be dynamic. It can change. There can be shifts. And I appreciate what you said, which is, what example, especially for my parents out there, do you want to set for your children? Whether it's your daughter, your son, or whomever, what do you want to be able to model for them? What do you want to be able to instill in them? This is where I kind of now, like, with that, piggyback now into like being able to have kids and being able to model for them not only the working side of things, like, cool, daddy works and we're doing this, but also, look, daddy prioritizes his health. You don't have to even say it in so many words. You don't have to say anything. From my experience of having 4 daughters and like seeing them and bringing to the gym, or like what I do, and they know what I do, and like being able to have those experiences, they're all like active in their own right. So I wonder what you notice even with your son, and like, daughter's still young, so it's not like she's going to be like working out per se, but
I don't know, man. She likes to lift heavy things. She'll pick something up and be like, oh, do the grunting thing out, and
in those
yeah,
walking steps, pulling herself up, right? Like,
oh yeah, she's full walking and everything, and she's a ball of energy. But yeah, my son's setting the right example for a child, especially with you're splitting time with somebody else, can be tough. Like when he's here, like I'm making like steaks and like leaner meats and veggies and everything else, and with that, like, he at home, he may not eat as many veggies on the other end, and that's okay. That's not my but I've found ways to like hide in there. Like I'll make an Alfredo sauce and like shove broccoli and other stuff into it, and Um, just they have like broccoli nuggets now, which are like sounds disgusting, but they my son's a big like he ate the whole plate. I was like, oh cow, well, let's load you up again. And but him seeing where I was to now, I mean, he can see that I'm like where we go out and do stuff. Where I'm out there at the creek with him. You know, we do dad son projects around the house and just going on hikes and walks and everything in between. And where something where I was 130 pounds heavier made it a lot harder to do. And you know, he can see that I work hard. And I think the biggest thing for me too is like with work, like I grew up, my dad, he brought work home with him, and he just kept the same frustration with work a lot of times, and like brought it out on us. And I have done really well this, even working from home, which is, it would be easy to just get sucked back in and keep working. But the second I shut that door, I leave it all in this room, and just there's always a call you can handle tomorrow. Everybody thinks, oh, it's so pressing, it needs to be done right now. If there's no difference between now and 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, you'll get it when you get it. And the crazy part is, especially in my realm, everybody wants everything so quickly, but then you won't get a response for 3 weeks after that. So you're like, oh well, I'm glad I
Good thing I
broke.
rushed.
Yeah, good thing I broke everything into this and just crumbled myself down for nothing. But no, I mean that's just things I've learned. I mean, I've only been doing this for about 8 years in this industry, and I've had people that have that same mentality of like just work a million hours and make all this money, and so we can go to Myrtle Beach once a year for vacation, and then that's the only time we spend with our family. Like, no, like I've got a young family. I want to cherish the times. I don't want to just miss out because I'm working myself to death. So
Yeah, that's a really it's like, again, it goes back to the mindset you're kind of alluding to mindset before, and being able to have that and being able to ask like, hey, cool, like what from my life experience do I want to recreate? Because that's the cool thing too. A lot of us maybe don't have that modeled behavior as kids for like our health and what exercise look like, or even work-life balance, or even nutrition, or and not that our parents don't want what's best for us, it's just their experience of it, and then being able to kind of learn and adapt and adjust. So I appreciate that point of like being able to model it, like truly model it for your family, and to be able to connect. Like there's so many studies, I can go off and off and off on all the different studies that align with parents being present in lives, but specifically dads, and how important it is for a dad in a younger kid's life and all of their life, but for a dad to truly be able to be present at certain stages and being able to feel connected and security that it brings and all of that. So I think that's like a really impactful piece as well. So yeah, I'm going to pause on that. I'm going to kind of slightly shift a little bit, go back into like some of the training, the motivation, all that. Like, I'm curious now what, like where, like, I mean, I know like based on just like things we've talked about and even some of the measurables, but for the people at home watching, not only like live, but even the replay version of this, what's next for you? And then we can start to map out, because I think people can learn a lot from cool. Not only, hey, what it took to lose over 100 pounds, but what is working in the maintenance, and then what are you going to do thereafter, and what they can do about that as well.
Yeah. So I mean, as of right now, I've just got a gym membership over at the Racket Club over there. So here's the problem: when it was just me and I was here, and my son, I'd have my son every other weekend and week on, week off the summertime. Like when I left work, I could just go to the gym. Now I've got all family here. My wife doesn't get home until usually about 6 o'clock at night. Then trying to juggle all that, making dinner, get the kids to bed, get kids to bed, everything. So now we've had to find a club that actually has daycare, which around here is like impossible. And it's like Gold's Gym all got rid of their daycare. The Y has it, but there's like nothing at the Y, like equipment wise, or unless, I mean, if you're in your 80s, I'm sure the Y is a great place to go around here. If you're really into swim aerobics and stuff like that, but I'm just not. And if you look at some of my stuff, I was big into powerlifting, and I haven't gone super heavy in lifting. I've been more focused on like cardios, just with my ankle and everything, and then traveling all the time. And Mike, I'm sure you're aware of like when you go travel, like hotel gym equipment is like 6 dumbbells and like a broken cable machine, and then
like a piece
you
of
know,
cardio, like a bike or a treadmill or
yeah, a
whatever.
treadmill that's got like 0 tread on it. Like, just you're like, I don't even know what to do. So, um, I will say in New York, it was easy to stay. Like I felt like I was the largest human in New York because I walked 20 miles one day and I was like, this sucks. Like this is the worst day of my life. So yeah, I mean, I get it why everybody's in shape there because they walk everywhere. There's no, I mean, if you're in a car, you're stuck in traffic. So it's just, but no, I think for me, I think getting back in the gym is going to be a big thing, and it's just going to be. My wife wants to come join me with that as well, and she wants to get back into it. She did powerlifting and stuff, and when she was getting out of college and everything else, and she wants to get back into it. Um, and that's even a big jump, from being pregnant and everything else. I'm sure there's several people you work with that have gone through all that, and so we're just gonna try to get back and work at it together. Tough part is, as well, as my daughter is a huge clinger and does not like going to anybody else, so that's the problem with trying to get back in there. So we're trying to like work that as well. I mean, just step by step. I mean, it's just a little bit better every single day. Lay the bricks. So
Yeah, that's a great. I literally was just dealing with this with Carrie, my fiance, and I yesterday with our youngest Hope, who's a year old, and we have a babysitter. We're really fortunate; she's like 15 minutes away, and
yeah,
she's super sweet, awesome, like all that. But like Hope, especially, is like pretty clingy, and is anxious. Like now, it seems like when Carrie goes to drop her off, she immediately sees our babysitter, and she's like crying already, which is not how
yeah,
you want to do things, but
no,
like
yeah,
within an hour of her being there, like she was texting. I was like, you know what, dude? Like she's so worked up. Like literally, she was like, her whole nervous system's worked up. She's like trembling and crying. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go get her. I'm not gonna like leave her like that. But the
yeah,
point is, I'm grateful, at least in my dynamic of running a business and coaching and having a team. I can like relatively reschedule and or hand things off to people, but not everyone has that. So I think to your point, it's like finding an environment that aligns with care, especially with your kids. But also then I call it the plan B. It's part of a system. It's like, okay, great. We can have a plan A and it's great when things align, but what happens when kids get sick or you can't go or whatever, or snowed in? And so yes, get to the gym, but then also like, cool, we have a plan B option, whether it's, or traveling. Like, let's say you're traveling to like, I don't know where, but let's say some small town in like Louisiana or something, or in like the Midwest or anywhere, even like even New York, we have places upstate or that don't have great gym and fitness equipment access. It's like
yeah.
making it work with what we have, whether that's like, I'm gonna like, one of the things I always pack is a ropeless jump rope. I know that sounds crazy, but it's like basically like these two little weighted balls, and just
Yeah.
to do that. And even if you don't have any equipment, there's always something we can do, even if it's to your point, walking. Think about like walking in New York's intense, dude. Like I growing up there, like it's for sure you get your miles in. So being able to find something, it's a matter of like, what am I going to do? And having a minimum effective dose and a non-negotiable basically is what jumps out at me. The other side of, so that's like maybe on the movement and being able to deal with life. So having a
Yeah.
plan B, being able to have non-negotiable. What are some of the tricks you've maybe learned on the nutrition side with all the travel that you do? Like when, to your point, like you're eating out and stuff, do you have any things that not only we've talked about, but things you've noticed that have worked for you? Or is it mostly like, I'm going to just heavily lean on meal prep when I am home, and I'm going to try and do as much preparing ahead of time?
So there's no meal prep when traveling. It's hard. Especially I have no idea how long I'm gonna go, and I'm flying everywhere. So one thing I do, and it may not even be like if I know that like if I'm gonna have a big dinner that night somewhere nice or whatever for
Yeah,
work, and
for whatever. Yeah.
I'll just have like a protein bar or a protein shake for breakfast with banana, and then Greek yogurt. I've been leaning on a bunch of that. I've gotten real into that. Um, and then lunch, I'll keep it real light, and then dinner. If I want to have a little bit more, then I've walked 20 miles a day, or I climb roofs all the time too, so that's fun. Um, uh, it's yeah. I mean, it's just balance. It's just knowing like there is consequences to making bad choices. And if you prepare yourself like, hey, I know we're going to go to some Italian restaurant that night, just work yourself throughout the day, you know, just think about it, and just don't go crazy every meal. I can't, because if I go and pig out at breakfast and lunch and then I go climb a roof, I'm going to throw up on that roof, and it's going to happen. And so it's just making better choice. And here's a good example. So me and my dad went on a road trip down to Alabama, and he's been doing insurance. He was an adjuster for 30, since the dinosaur times. And we're on the road. He's like, "How about we get some donuts?" I'm like, "I'm good. I don't really want donuts." I'm like, "We're just in a car. Like, we're not doing anything."
Yeah.
And I went and got, I'll get like a bunch of protein bars just to have to snack, and then sparkling waters and zero sugar drinks just to fill you up kind of the way. And jerky is a big thing too.
Ooh.
And you get the right jerky though. Don't get just Jack Links because that's just full of salt.
And salt. Yeah.
I do like the Trapper Jacks. You ever seen that one?
No, I've seen Publix. They have some good ones I've seen. Like I forget the brand though. There's like even turkey cuts, a variety of different. Jerky.
Yeah. And then just I kind of just stick to the thing that with 1 gram of protein for every 10 calories is where I try to lie right at. And yeah, I mean that, and it's just choices really. Cause he was like, "I can't believe you eat that." He'd get like a pack of donuts or something. I was like, for that one thing you eat, I could eat like my whole meal and get the same amount of calories, but like all the protein I need. He's like, "Oh, I know." So, I mean, it's just something he's always done. It was always, he's been on the road forever, and he's always made kind of tough choices with it. And that's one thing. If you can train yourself, like go to the right places you need to go. And one thing I've been getting into is boiled peanuts lately on the road.
Yeah.
The spicy ones, they're so filling and they're really not bad for calories. Like maybe 350 calories for a giant thing of it, and then you're stuffed, and then you're burping up the nastiest smell you've ever smelled in your life. But yeah, I mean, choices with traveling, that's a big thing for sure. And sorry I went off on a tangent there, but that's just one thing I wanted to bring up for sure was that.
And so here's a couple things that jump out at me, and I'll like maybe put in my own wording for everyone too, is like being intentional. That's a big thing that jumped out at me, is being intentional with your choices, right? So like there's this formula I like to use. I'll bring up pretty much every like office hours or anytime I create content. It's like these 4 variables I've found in coaching, even since we work together. Since then, I've started to like put it into these 4 kind of buckets or 4 things to focus on. Is having awareness. So awareness of our choices, for example, on the road. Like, oh, I noticed that I want to have donuts. Let's say in your dad's case, or another person, like even in the construction industry, when I work with like truck drivers, commercial drivers, or people. Executives that are traveling a lot, these types of things, like, to have awareness of what are the kind of choices. Even maybe drinking is a big one I noticed too for like executives. When you're going out and you're schmoozing clients and you're getting these like dinners and whatever, like, cool, I'm going to want to drink. So we have awareness to the choices we're making, and then we start to have some then intention of how we may want to alter that. Like my intention is to be able to be in a calorie deficit. I'm not saying we always have to count calories, but I think it is simple math of like calories in versus calories out. At the end of the day, will get you into a net loss if we boil it to that. And then it's like where your macros are will dictate your body composition with your training. So it's awareness to your choices. It's having an intention that's going to dictate ultimately what action we take, and then having accountability. So the action might be, okay, cool. Again, I'm going to make sure I load up on protein first when I stop to get gas, when we get into these places or at the airport. And then that's the intention, is to make sure that I am hitting a particular protein goal on a daily basis. Like for me, it's like bare minimum. I get to have 150 grams of protein every day, no matter what, no matter how much I'm eating, whatever's going down. And then the accountability is like, I have my own coach. Ironically, even though I run a business, like I lean on my coaches in my company to help hold me accountable. And like, whether it's a scheduled check-in or with our team, and, oh, what's up, Nina? I see you saying, hey. Nina says, hey, by the way, Nick, someone in the comments just chatting, and one of our homies. So the point is being able to have that 4-step formula: awareness, intention, action, and accountability. And then one of the things I think that's interesting that you kind of mentioned is when you're traveling a lot, ideally picking places that it makes it less bandwidth oriented to make a choice. So if you, for example, a friend of mine lives in Vegas, we travel sometimes for like conferences and stuff. Starbucks, we can get an egg white, turkey meat, little egg sandwich. You get 2 of those. It's like 400 calories and 30 grams of protein. We know you can get that pretty much any Starbucks around the country. It's like a predictable thing. Now, you may enjoy local. I like supporting local where I can. but like having some predictable things.
Mine's Chick-fil-A with that.
Ooh, that's a really good.
I do now if I'm going to be on the road for a long time, I'll get the 30 count grilled nuggets. It's like 450 calories, and then I take the buffalo sauce, which is I think it's maybe 40 calories. It's pretty low in the calorie. Well, and either you can do straight hot sauce, which would be less calories, but if you got room to burn, I'll take 2 of those, mix it in there, shake it, and then I'll just eat those, and it's so good. Like I do that now when I go out because as a parent, they have a playground at the Chick-fil-A. I can go and eat. The kids can have what they want. Get the 30 count nugget, and then they did have for a while was the tortilla soup there, which was really good. And then you could put the chicken in there and all that. It's gone now. I think that was a seasonal thing, but I'll do like either a salad or the Greek yogurt there.
Ooh.
And the Greek yogurt, they have the Greek yogurt, and they either have the granola or the cookie crumbles. The cookie crumble is actually less calories than the granola is. So I'll do that just to get a little sweet in there. I mean, it's probably 1 cookie crumbled up, the whole thing. So, I mean, it's nothing, but it makes a nice little snack. And, but yeah, Chick-fil-A is my go. If I see a Chick-fil-A, I'm aiming for it every time. I'm trying to think. And like the gas stations too, because like when I'm on the road, that's all I have. If you're not in, between Asheville to Charlotte, between Charlotte and Raleigh, there's nothing. You're looking at ghost areas, and I apologize if any viewers are living in those towns, but there's nothing. And I apologize.
Like they know, you know what I mean? I feel like you know what's up.
But what is not are the Sheetz gas stations?
Okay, yeah,
tons of protein variety there. Yeah, and even if I'm tired of eating like cold stuff, they have made to order stuff, which they have like healthier options like wraps and other stuff you can kind of lean towards. Sometimes even with those, I'll just order like a thing of chicken and just eat that if I'm just tired of eating cold stuff. And Sheetz and QT, those are good. Spinks is good in some areas. But yeah, I mean it's weird choices, but if that's all you got to make the decision.
Yeah, and I think to your point, like being able to, and like Nina's even put in the comments to that point is like, yeah, being mindful of like having something you can still enjoy and protein intake. Like if you could pay attention to like where your protein's at, even something I'll play with more recently is more my fiber intake, and shooting for a certain particular amount of fiber because that helps with fullness. Protein's going to help with fullness. And again, having that predictability. I love that you mentioned Greek yogurt too, because one of the things that we're working on, actually, I say me and the team on the behind the scenes is working on like a dessert cookbook. So we have our slow cooker, we have our barbecue, we got the 28-day protocol, but now we're working on a dessert one. This is where I'm going to like have a transition into an actual, like one of our sponsors, the one's like right over my shoulder, BioLore, that has a sea moss gel. Believe it or not, probably sounds gross. I don't know if you ever messed around with sea moss gel.
I've had, whatever that greens powder I told you I drank that time, and I like threw it up.
What I actually say is like, I'll show you like up close is like the sea moss gel is like jelly. It's a bit like, think of a gel, like you make a peanut butter jelly. I substitute this because this is 10 to maybe 15 calories per serving versus like 60 to 80. And it's going to have like 92 essential minerals. It's going to have potassium, sodium. It's going to have zinc. It's iron. Now, here's what I will say, like things like this is not meant, even in the gummies that they make, it's not meant to like replace all your food. Like it's just a compliment to it. And one of the things I was talking about with BioLore, honestly, like behind the scenes is like with our cookbook is using them for like with desserts. Like I've been really I love peanut butter cups or like almond butter cups or any version of like a nut butter and a chocolate. That's like my jam. So we have this between Carrie and I feel like we really dialed in a higher protein, lower calorie, lower sugar nut butter cup recipe with like a sea salt. And we're going to play with, I was thinking about doing that and like dipping it in like the jelly and like then freezing it and then being able to have it be like a sweet treat, or doing smoothies, shakes, acai bowls, but instead of just leaning on acai, you do like sea moss. And the point is using things that you like, even like a peanut butter and jelly, and finding ways to substitute. Even you mentioned Alfredo before. Like let's say fettuccine Alfredo is like when I was a kid, like one of my classic favorite dishes. Yeah. So I still will eat chicken Alfredo, but being able to say, okay, instead of making the traditional Alfredo sauce and being able to have like super heavy cream, playing with Greek yogurt variations or consistency that. So that's why I brought in the whole point of saying all this is like Greek yogurt's a really cool one you can play with. Substitute with sour cream. You can substitute it with like heavy cream. You can do all these substitutes with it. Drives your protein way up, and it gives you a lot of diversity. And the point is enjoying food still at the end of the day. So I'm going to stop ranting. I want to do like a little plug. Shout out to our sponsor, BioLore, and thank you for
that's cool. Yeah,
happen to make like tie in nicely there with like still finding things to enjoy. And also the other side is even let's say going to donuts for your dad. Like I invite nowadays I'm really intentional with like, let's list out some of our favorite foods and things we might not want to live without. And then saying, okay, cool. Maybe we don't want to go to Krispy Kreme, for example, or something, but we can make homemade versions of that. We can drive up protein. We can drive up fiber. So actually, I'm curious to ask you nowadays, like, what do you think is something that it doesn't have to necessarily be sweet? It could be a savory. Like what's a food you love that you've been either playing with a substitute for it or would be open to substituting ingredients? I'm putting you on the spot here. This wasn't like a prep thing, so I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Too. I think my big thing is just going for steak. There's different cuts of steak, and like I love cooking steak and pizza as well. That's another one. So going to New York, I had really good pizza. Well, I came home and I make my own pizzas now. So I can judge what I put in there, and I use better ingredients and like not just slamming, Little Caesars pizza or anything like for my son's birthday, I made me and my father-in-law, he's actually in town right now, but he's a Pittsburgh Italian. So we made 12 full-size pizzas for the kids, made them up, everything. Yeah. So we were in there making our own stuff, using better, And if you look at like Parmesan, like a real block of Parmesan, it's so good, like nutrition wise, it's killer. Yeah, it's killer protein. It's just that's where I can make my own choices on what I put on the pizza. Balsamic vinaigrette is something I really got into, like just the balsamic part of it, and then what's it? Oh, just the sauce. Tomato sauce. There's like nothing. If you get the right kind, it's not bad at all. But yeah, just playing with different stuff with using like pancetta and a couple other things, like just being able to pick with better ingredients kind of deal, and just making a pizza for the family. And they sell this pizza dough at Food Line, and it's like $2 for like just like the blob of pizza dough, and roll it myself, flour it, throw it up, put it on there. Oh yeah. And then but with steak, picking better choices for the cut of meat you go with. Just looking at the fat content of it, I know it would be great to have a Wagyu steak every single day, but also it's not very good for it. It's just very, very fat cut of meat. I'll do you can buy like a big blob of it, pretty much, of the sirloin. I can't think of it. I have to find the name of it, but you can buy the whole thing for like $45, and I just cut it up, and they're real lean. So what I do is I'll tenderize them with I've got this thing that you just stab into it, and it just poking a million different holes.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Take it and then season it inside of the bag, and then freeze it or refrigerate half of it, and then rotate. But that way I control how much I put into it, everything else, instead of just going to a restaurant and they just slap whatever else onto it. And
you have no idea how much or what, and it can taste great. But to your point, like being intentional is again another ironically shameless plug for like the BioLore. One of the interesting things about their ingredients is they use purees, like a mango. I don't know if you ever messed with pineapple in steak because of the acidity and what it does to break it down.
Yeah, I've
pureized the meat.
I've added that to there before. It's pretty good. So
it just depends on like the cut and also what you want from your flavor profile, but also being able to do again, like one thing I was talking to someone about the other day is like, since moving to the Carolinas, I have a new appreciation for slow cooking. Like, I was telling Carrie this, right? Like, wasn't I telling you this? Slow cooking and like being able to like low and slow. Like when I would smoke meat with my Traeger, whether it was like a brisket or steak or like it's just a different style. And then you could obviously like finish it off by searing it and then do like a reverse sear kind of a strategy. But being able to have that, and to your point, pick those cuts of meats, because that's like one category. Another tool we'll leverage is, okay, we have our protein category, we have a vegetable category, so we pick a vegetable to go with it. We have some kind of fibrous smart carb that goes with it, and then a fat that you use to help kind of like put it all together. And you can find like, hey, even what's on sale. I talked to Johnny from Rogue about this from time to time. We're like, all right, cool. Like maybe we have pork that's on sale versus chicken versus you have fish, and then you have different cuts of beef. And it's like, cool, we could rotate that and then just try and enhance like a leaner cut, like 93% lean beef versus 80-20, those type of things.
And even if you go with the cheaper cut of beef, what I've done before is I will render down the beef, and then I'll take a paper towel and stick it in there and plunge all the fat out of it. So, because the problem is 80-20 is always like probably 20% cheaper than the leaner cut. Yeah. But I mean, there's ways to get it out of there. You will lose a lot, but it's just, work with your budget. I mean, it is crazy that America is the only country in the world that obese are the poorest people in the country. I mean, a lot of healthy stuff is really expensive, but I mean, I do all my shopping at Food Line, and I still find a way to, cut weight and drop weight. It's just making the better choices. Like, yes, Chips Ahoy are pretty cheap, but they're not going to help you out in the long run, kind of deal. What else?
And it's at what cost too, dude? The one thing I invite for people long term is like, sure, it might be cheap now, but like 20 years from now, a heart attack is not going to be cheap.
Oh yeah,
for work, but
for sure.
That's getting into the weeds. Also, to your point, like standing on principles of, let's say, the U.S. and some of their standards for things. When you go to, like, I have family in Germany, right, and like Italy, and like even like in Thailand, living over there. I'm looking at like going to Japan with my kids for a vacation, and like the standards at which they have is fascinatingly different from what we have over here.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely somewhere, like, times are tough. You got to squeeze what you can. But I probably make a dinner for family probably at least 4 to 5 times a week, just because I'm here if I'm in town, and just making the right choices when I do go out and stuff like that. Like, I mean, going to restaurants, I do love supporting local, but a lot of times they aren't as pushed to like monitor the calorie charts on there and everything. But just knowing what's going to be higher in calories compared to what's not. So.
Yeah. And doing even just a little, whether it's travel, whether it's at home, up front, maybe putting in a little more bandwidth, be like, oh, cool. Like, I know, like, let's take a pizza, for example. Like, I love pizza. That's being familiar. And I love Italian food. I love all types of food. But saying, okay, cool. Like, I'm aware that having a slice of pizza might not be the best source of protein, but it's not too bad. So cool. If I add some veggies to it, I add a little bit of chicken on top of it. Cool. Now I start to blend things and I don't have to restrict. The one thing I'm a big fan of, even when it comes to nutrition, is focusing less on the removal side. Like, all right, let's just add things to what we want. Meaning, like, I'll add protein, I'll add fiber, I'll add vegetables, and I can still have these things, but I'm going to just add more of what I want. Even with your point to the 80-20 meat, like sometimes I haven't done this much recently, but like getting 80-20 and then like 93-7, and then you do 2 pounds together. So when you average it out, it's like roughly 86-87% lean. And you can even still like drain some of the fat, to your point, mix it in, and like, so you have a broader kind of scale to it. I think that's impactful. But at the end of the day, it's like, hey, focus on one piece at a time and look at what's possible when you fast forward 3 years, 4 years, how it accumulates over time, and being able to work through things. And Dick, I gotta be honest with you, we're gonna have to come back and do more. Are you down to come back on and dive into more stuff? Because I know we're getting a little bit towards the end, and I have to transition, get ready for a call, and I know you got kids and life and all that.
Yeah, I got my daughter running around out there. I don't know if you could hear in the background, but she's a wild thing.
She's doing a great job.
Yeah.
It's also not like kicking the door in and being crazy, which is fine too. Like, life's gonna life and kids are gonna kid. But one thing I guess to like just recap on all of this is, through your journey so far, I always like to say, hey, like, what do you think is what's something someone can do today watching, whether they're watching this live, watching the replay, watching a snipped up version of this? I always like to give us something actionable that was crucial for you, that if you could talk to yourself 4 years ago, you would emphasize this part that someone else could gain value from. Again,
honestly, I think so. With the whole program, at the beginning, you had me send you every single meal I was doing. You may not have to do it with, the program, but if you have a buddy you're both chasing the same thing, and if you're like, every time I eat something, I got to take a picture and send it to my friend, it led to me being like, okay, I don't need to send Mike a picture every time I'm having a meal now, but I'll also make the choice thinking that, what would Mike think if I, ate a dozen donuts right now or something, like it's just finding ways for your mind, play tricks for your mind a little bit in the beginning, sometimes some people I've done before with when I fell off a little bit and I was coming back, I got like into like, Coke Zero, not like, oh, I'm gonna drink it but like if I was like, God, I'm hungry. I think I'm hungry, but if I just drink it, I'm all bubbled up and I'm like, I'm good. I'll be all right. Just something to fill you up sometimes. Drinking a lot of water has always been good, but really just finding ways to hold yourself accountable. And only it's only you that decides to eat what you eat or sit around as long as you do or do whatever. Just just think about your day and be like, how long did I sit and watch TikToks, or how long did I do this, or could I have been doing something else to improve in some way? So one of my favorite was from Ethan Suplee. I heard on his podcast. I don't know, American Glutton. Have you heard that one?
No, I'm gonna have to check it out though.
So Ethan Suplee was the big guy in all of like
oh yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah. So he's lost a ton of weight. One of his first, you got to listen to his very first one he ever did. It was just him saying everything he's done, and he said he went to a guy and he was like, he's like, say every day you wake up and the version you were yesterday, you have to fight him to the death. Could you do it the next day? Did you improve yourself enough to be the person you were yesterday? And I was like, damn, that's deep. But some days I would have definitely died from the person I was yesterday. Some days, I could have, it's just choices you make. Yeah. So,
or even just being sore. Like, let's say you get a crazy trifecta workout the day before and you're sore AF. You might lose to that guy the day before.
Yeah, I might lose. Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy with life right now. Like, I hold my mom's a realtor, and she had somebody that did not come pick up all their stuff out of their condo or something like that, and it was on the 3rd floor, and I had to carry a giant speaker for a guitar down 3 flights of steps, and I was like, I'm a little sore. Like, it's just, and it may not even be like, oh, I need to go to the gym for 6 hours. Like, just make a choice to make yourself a little better. Go walk around, go pick up some cinder blocks, go throw a rock around, do something. And a lot of times it's just me and my son just going to go do chores out in the yard. Like, we went and collected rocks out of the creek in the backyard and carried them up the hill, and it was exhausting, but it was fun. It may not have been like deadlifts in the gym, but it was at least getting me moving and your heart rate up and being out the sun, and just do what you got to do. So
yeah, connection with your son, being able to get steps.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll tie it back in. So I appreciate that's super helpful. And like, I'll reiterate that. So that goes back to like, again, the formula I use now, I point out to like awareness, right? Taking pictures of our food, logging our body composition, being able to track our workouts. If you're just guessing how much weight to use and you're not tracking your workouts and, oh, last time I did 50 pounds, this time I'm gonna do 55. Like you're kind of missing a massive piece. So it's like having awareness, then lining out with intention. Cool. Like I'm going to improve my health, or these are my kind of negotiable aspects of my life I want to be, and being able to then take the action on it. And lastly, have accountability, whether it's a coach, whether it's a friend, whether it's family, whether it's social media is like a built-in accountability system. Like share it somewhere. It will have an impact. The cool thing, I referenced the study. There's 2 studies I referenced. One is from London University. They found that when people had a scheduled accountability check-in, whether phone call, video call, or in person, they were 60 to 95% more successful. So if that was a pill, I would take that pill from a success standpoint. The other thing is when they had people take pictures of their food, they didn't even have to share it with anyone. Just taking pictures of their food, they ate 20% less on average. So people are taking like Manjaro and all these GLP-1s. I'm not saying that's wrong, by the way, but you can do that, but you can also just take pictures of your food. You'll honestly eat less. And then if you share it with people, that's a massive accountability. And if anything, you're gaining awareness, because then you're like, oh, why did I gain weight this week? Oh, look, I'm just projecting my own experience here. I had a bag of mangoes and like a whole thing of peanut butter cups, like at 2 in the morning. Yeah, that makes sense why I gained like a pound. So that's the thing I would just continuously highlight, and that's extremely valuable. And again, like Nick, I'll go back to, dude, thank you for taking the time and coming on. I'll start to bring it home. And the last thing I want to kick it to you for the platform is like, last things to potentially share and offer? And then again, just acknowledge like what you've done, man. I don't know if you take the time to really acknowledge it. I appreciate when you send me the updates because I love celebrating it with you. But like really taking the time of like how crazy is A, to originally lose like 50 pounds, then B, being able to lose over 100 pounds, and then being able to maintain it, even if it's not like, okay, it wasn't always perfect, the same, it wasn't a linear path. It's like over this gap of 4 years, look at what you've created and be able to maintain. I think that's the massive thing to celebrate. And yeah, so I kind of want to kick it to you for the closing aspects and thoughts of it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, even when I gained weight that one time, I was like, I know what to do to fix this. I've trained myself, and it's like you're just not doing it. And every day you got to make the decision: do I want to get a little better today? And it may not even be like, do I want to lose weight, or it could be I want to get better at work. I want to, I want to get better in education. I want to be a better parent. I want to, go the next step I can to improve. And I think it's just find something every single day to improve on, and then just do it. But don't make it a million different things either. It's you don't need to write a biography every single day of like, I need to, only use 2 pieces of toilet paper to save the world, and then this, and just load it down on the list, and then achieve none of it. so, and so, I mean, it's just make little goals and write them down and just do it. At the end of the day, it's on you, nobody else. So you can try to blame everybody else for it and all that, but at the end of the day, it's your mouth, your hand, your feet. Do what you got to do it right.
Amen to that, dude. You get to be responsible for it. Is what I'm hearing you say. So, all right, we'll leave it at that for everyone to have some inspiration to go do and take action. And also, I guess the last piece is like for people that want to follow your journey when you are posting on social media, where can they like? I'll put this also when we repurpose it. I'll put it if that's cool if you even want that because I know we've talked about a variety of things that like we've worked on, so I want to make sure we send people in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really been posting much lately just because I haven't been doing all the gym stuff. But I think since I'm getting back, probably the Stash Strength NC, that would probably be a good one. Probably, it was fun to post on there. I kind of use my Instagram now just to post family pictures. I mean, if you want to see cute family pictures, you can follow me on my regular Instagram. I mean, that's really all that I post now lately. But I've got some super cute kids, so I have a great reason to do it. But yeah, I mean, that's probably more. I mean, and then there's a bunch of stuff on there of when me and Mike were working together directly, like different thing, like when I meal prepped in a hotel in Florida, and I was using like a hotel key card to like chop up my food, and like I was in prison, just crazy stuff, and just you'll see a lot heavier person on there, but it was somebody that was just working out, and that one was crazy because a lot of that was I was on hurricane duty working like 12 hours a day, and then still driving to a gym that was in Tampa, Florida, and working out for like another hour and a half every single night. And God, that was the first time I ever lost weight while I was traveling. Up till then, I had lost like I think it was like 15 pounds on over like a month, and I was like, well, that works. So
it's possible,
Yeah, I mean, and even like when you travel, like bring the scale with you. If you're really like if you want something to really judge you, that scale will judge you if you made some bad decisions. So, take it with you. You can't. The band. I still use the bands all the time. When I travel, I'll hook those up. Do some squats with them. Do some just different variations of movement with them, and they're super easy to have. And TSA's never try to take them, so that works out well. So.
It's pretty, and I try to intentionally package them. And to your point, actually, what's ironic about what you mentioned? There's a couple of different brands I've worked with over the years, even like the scale that you have, right? The Fit Index scale, that's one I really enjoy. Then they're not even a sponsor. That's just one I like. I literally like bought them and just like sent them around.
I upgraded mine. I still have that same one, but I got the newer version. No, you don't have that. It's just a bigger one. But I think after, I mean, I had it for 3.5 years. The weights were it just didn't seem right. So I was like, I'm just, I've probably worn this thing out enough. I think I'm just time to get a newer model. And it's great. It is bigger though. It's a little. It's not as travel friendly.
Yeah,
but But yeah, I mean, a scale is definitely something to bring if you want to know if you've made that bad decisions or not. So, and
That's
also with you were saying the drinking thing, and one thing that helped me because I still drink, but when I was doing it, I was doing tequila and soda water.
nice.
Was the only thing I drink. For one, you can only have so many of those because you will be blackout drunk if you. But also it's low calorie with the soda water, and that's the big thing, and that's the only thing I can add for the drinking part of it. Now I just do the seltzers,
Yeah.
and those and that's just what else I could add. But yeah, other than that, I mean that's pretty much me. And yeah, just give me a shout whenever you want to do it again. So
yeah, we'll get you back. And then one more. Ironic, I wasn't planning on this, but there's a brand that I've worked with called Renpho, RENPHO. They've sent me. They now have traveling scales that are like smaller than this book. It's like maybe 12 by 8 or something like that. And it's not only a scale, they have one that's just a scale that you can check and bring wherever. So like for fighters, it's really good when they have to make weight while traveling.
Yeah.
They have one that's the same size that also does body composition. So it has the electrodes in it. So ironically, like they weren't sponsoring this, but I'm just going to plug that and I'll maybe repurpose it later. But shout out to them. And there's other companies you can use. They have travel-friendly body composition scales, not just to check your weight, but to check your body fat percentage. And they're just a little bit bigger than my palm. So it's like enough for you to stand on for your feet to fit. And that's it. And it's like
my problem is I have size 14 feet, and the problem is this body. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I mean, that was the problem with the fit index. I had to like squeeze my feet on there, but the newer one, it's a little wider. So because I mean, you got to make sure your floor is perfect, all that. So, but that's pretty cool. They have. You said Renpho.
Yeah, Renpho. This is just honestly when I'll make some content out of it. But they do actually their travel one is like goes up to 300 pounds. So you're like, right.
I'm right at it. Right at it. So.
Yeah, and that's the quick question. I'll just address this on Twitch, and then we'll get out of here. Because someone asked, like, is your body comp even going to change that much over a week or days in this case? I mean, in a day or two, no. But like over a week, it's more about bringing your awareness. I go back to the idea of awareness to what's going on, so you kind of see. Hi.
Say hey.
Hi. All right. Well, I'll let you, dude, go.
Oh, you're good. Yeah.
With the fam. Thank you again, man. We'll have Nick come back on and bye.
Say hey. He blow kisses. Say, time to go to daddy duty.
Yeah, do it.
All right. We'll see you guys.
Later, bro. Bye, everybody.